My name's John McKnight, and a title I have is the co-director of the Asset-Based Community Development Institute, a very obscure name. But what it is about is we do research and training focused on neighborhoods and trying to assist people in seeing all of the resources that are there locally that often aren't recognized or used to create new ways and solve problems. So that's our work, and this conference is a conference about neighborhoods. So of course I wanted to be here because it draws people who are from and interested in neighborhoods from all over Canada. When I was in high school, I read a book which is called Reveille for Radicals. And this book was written by a man named Saul Alinsky, who is sort of the godfather of neighborhood organizing in the United States. And he's been here in Canada too, historically. And when I read that book, it was about how neighborhoods could become powerful if they were organized. I thought that's what I would like to do. And so I went to college in Chicago, and that put me at the site of where this kind of neighborhood organizing was developing. And I hooked up with the young people, guys mostly, who were doing neighborhood organizing, and so that's how I got into this whole field. Later in my life, I went into university where I could do research and help neighborhood organizations become more effective. Oh, I think so. I've been back and forth so much that it's very clear to me that there are some very significant differences. To me, the most significant one is that the culture here fosters cooperation much more than the culture in the U.S. The U.S. is a competitive culture. And so at the neighborhood level, what makes things work is people cooperating, right? So I think you've got, because of that culture, much better environment for people who are interested in neighborhood development and how we can come together to do things. And it's more natural here than it is in the United States. And so we've had a lot more interest in our work in Canada than comparatively than in the United States. Not that we spend a lot of time in the United States, but this difference between a cooperative and a competitive culture, I think, is to me the big difference. Well, it was strange. He's written quite a few books, and one of his later books, he was quoting our work a lot. And I think as a result of that, so he read our stuff. So he introduced himself to us, and we began doing things together, maybe at conferences, that kind of thing. And as a result of that working together, we then decided we would write a book together, and that book is called The Abundant Community. And it's sort of, we're both fairly old, so it may be our last testament. Yeah, well, probably what I pick up mostly, because this is my field, is what is happening. There's so many people here, about 150 people, and a lot of them are engaged in work in neighborhoods or are from neighborhoods. So I'm hearing stories, and these stories are telling me about all kinds of innovations and creative things that are happening at the local level. And our work is pretty much about identifying possible innovations and sharing those through our networks and our publications. So I have harvested a lot of wonderful stories from the people here who've been doing a lot of creative different kinds of things. Well, I think that we need to develop not a bunch of programs, but that we need to think about how do we nurture at the local level cultures of community, cultures that support community. So we don't have to have a bunch of programs injected, but we begin to see people in a neighborhood beginning to shape a way, a culture. They would say, this is how we raise the children in our village. That's a culture, right? That's my idea at the present time.